Have you ever really thought about how we get pure salt from the huge salty sea? Or how we get clean rice from a bag that might have tiny little stones in it? Well, it's all about a science called separation. Today, we're going to go on a fun scientific adventure to uncover all the amazing ways we separate things in our everyday lives. So, let's dive right in. So, meet our guides for this adventure, two super curious kids, Molly and his sister Volley. They're on their summer vacation, traveling all across India visiting family and friends. But you know what? This isn't just any old holiday. Nope, it's a science safari, and we're going along with them to spot all the different ways people separate mixtures. We're talking from the kitchen, to a farm, and even to the seaside. It's science that's hiding right in front of us.
All right, our first stop is their Nani's house, way out in the countryside of Haryana. And this is where they make their very first big scientific discovery.
So they get there, and in the courtyard, they see their family working with these huge piles of grain. But there's a little problem. The grain is all mixed up with small stones and little bits of husk. So, how on earth do you clean all of that up before you can cook it?
And the answer? Well, it's actually super simple. It's called hand picking. You just pick it out by hand. This is the perfect method when the stuff you don't want is easy to spot, because it's a different size or color or shape, and there isn't a crazy amount of it. It's a really simple and convenient fix.
And you know what? Molly does this exact same thing at lunch. He starts picking the whole black peppers out of his pulao. And his sister Volley sees it right away and goes, "Wow, that's hand picking." See, it just goes to show how we use this kind of science all the time without even realizing it.
Okay, so next they head out to the farm, and let me tell you, a much bigger separation challenge is waiting for them there. So first, they see farmers beating these big bundles of wheat stalks against a wooden log. Their uncle explains that this is called threshing. It's a really powerful way to knock all those tiny, valuable grains loose from the stalks that they grow on.
But wait, threshing creates a whole new puzzle. Now, yeah, the grains are free, but they're mixed up with literal mountains of light, flaky husks. Hand-picking this would take forever. So Valley starts wondering, there has to be a better way, right?
Of course there is, and the solution is a really clever method called winnowing. The secret ingredient? The wind. It's all about using wind or blowing air, because the husks are so light, the wind just blows them away, while the heavier grains fall straight down into a nice clean pile.
And to do this, a farmer will stand on a raised platform using this traditional bamboo tray called a soup. They gently shake the mixture, letting it fall, and the wind just does the rest of the work. It's amazing. You get two separate piles, one of clean grain and one of husk. Okay, next up, Molly and Valley hop on a train to Ahmedabad, and here their science adventure continues, moving from the farm right into the kitchen and then out to the coast. In the kitchen, their mommy is making something delicious called meaty puri. Now, to get the flour perfect, she uses a sieve. That mesh thing with all the little holes? She uses it to separate the fine flour from the rougher bran. This is called sieving, and it's perfect when you need to separate solids that are different sizes. You've totally seen this at construction sites too, when workers sieve little pebbles out of the sand. Same idea. Then, they head to the seaside and learn where all our salt comes from. So here's how it works. Seawater gets collected in these shallow pits. The sun beats down, the air gets warm, and the water slowly turns into vapor and just disappears into the air. That whole process is called evaporation. And guess what's left behind? A crust of solid salt, all ready to be collected. Pretty cool, right? The journey keeps going, this time south to Puducherry to visit their Dada and Dadi. And as evening rolls around, it's tea time, which of course means it's also time for another lesson in separation. Okay, so Dada says he can actually separate the tea leaves without even using a strainer. Here's his two-step trick. First, you let the tea sit for a minute so the heavy leaves all settle at the bottom. That part is called sedimentation. Then, you carefully pour the tea off the top, leaving the leaves behind, and that's called decantation. But as he admits, you still might get a few soggy leaves in your cup that way. So, what's the better way? Filtration. This is what most of us do when we use a tea strainer. The strainer acts as a filter. It's got tiny holes that let the liquid tea pass right through, but they trap the solid tea leaves. It's just a much better way to separate something solid that won't dissolve from a liquid. And if you want to get even more scientific, you can use something called a filter paper. Its little holes, or pores,
are even smaller than the ones in a strainer. It's so fine that it can actually separate tiny mud particles from water. You're left with clear water, which scientists call the filtrate. Now you know.
All right, for the final leg of their amazing trip, our young scientists visit Bhopal and then Shillong, where two more really fascinating, almost magical methods of separation are waiting for them.
In Bhopal, they try this delicious, refreshing drink called chach, which is also known as buttermilk. They find out it's made by churning curd. So this process involves shaking the curd up really fast, which causes the lighter butter to separate out and float right to the top, leaving that tasty buttermilk behind.
And finally, in Shillong, they see a carpenter accidentally drop a bunch of iron nails into a big pile of sawdust. Ugh! Instead of picking them out one by one, the kids have a brilliant idea. They grab a magnet, run it through the sawdust, and like magic, all the iron nails leap out and stick to it. This is magnetic separation.
And this isn't just a neat little trick for carpenters. This same idea is used on a massive scale. We're talking huge, powerful electromagnets on cranes in recycling plants that pull iron and steel right out of giant heaps of waste. It's a really, really important part of how we reuse materials.
Wow, what an incredible journey that was. As you can see, from Haryana all the way to Shillong, Mali, Invali discovered that the science of separation is absolutely everywhere. Whether it's picking, or blowing, or sieving, or even using a magnet, there's always a perfect method for the job.
So, now it's your turn. The next time you're in the kitchen or just looking around your house, put on your science goggles. What mixtures can you spot? And now that you're practically a separation expert, how would you go about separating them? The science is all around you, just waiting for you to discover it.